text function, view function. The last video we have learned how we can add the two number and left text, right text, and the length of the text, how we can get these things. So today we will try to learn the other parameter, means how we can do as a trim. What do we mean by the trim things? So basically, let's suppose that means we have a, the full name is Pavan Sharma, right? If you see here, so I have put here some space. So how it will be removed from there, right? So that is a concern. So means in the starting I have also put the some trim, some spaces on there. So how it will be do that means there is a function in the text section, right? So if you go here, so just drag and drop and paste here. So now if you will run this thing, then it will be remove the extra spaces whatever it is there, the last and starting, right? So if you see here, there is no space, and the last, I mean, from starting as well, there is no space. So this is all about the trim function. So means where we are use this function, right? So that is the concern, and the real time where we will use this. So let's suppose any value you are getting any validation type, right? So let's suppose our column name or any cell value, right? So once you get the cell value, right, so that cell value, let's suppose the Pawan Sharma, and you are validating whether it is correct or not, or whether it is matching or not. So that at the time you need to make that the output as a let's see how we can do that. So trim, right? And what is the your full name here, right? Full name you can drag and drop, and you can write equal to, right, Pavan Sharma, right? There is no space, right? In the middle only it is a space because it is also a space. So if you now validate here now, so let me store, it will give as a true or false value. Okay, so maybe we can add here the value name, let's suppose value check, value check. So it will be give you true or false. So validate, and if you evaluate these things, it will be equal to text. Now if you add this functionality to here, just rename this one validation. So it will be give true or false, means whatever we have put on there, right? So it is true. True means whatever the value is there, it is true, means it trims that. But if you are doing that initial stage, right, I will not run this stage and will validate here, it will give us the false value. By the trim, it will be remove the starting space and the last space. So now we can run one more time for understanding how it will work. Now the output is this, and now if you validate, right, if you put here the trim output, right? So let's suppose trim output, this is our output once the trim function done, right? So once you click, then it will be give us the true, because the output very initial stage we trim, so it will be removed from the extra space here, and whatever the validation we have applied here, it will be matched, so it will be give as a true value. Hope you understand these things, how it works. So maybe now we can move to the another function. We can just copy for quickly to understand. So here one of the another function is there, like in the text, right? So TrimStart, if you see, so what it will be do, it will be remove only the space from the starting. So here what happened, here we have as of now the starting space as well and the last space as well. So how we can what will we do if we apply that function, right? Go the text and go start, and if we choose here the full name and paste, so it will be means remove the extra space, whatever the space is from the starting. So let rename this one TrimStart. Okay, so now we can connect to each other. Now you can understand. So this is the extra spaces there, right? Means from starting as well from the end. So now we can check that whether what will happen. So if you see here from and the space is already available, but in the starting it will be removed. right? So this function will be used for the TrimStart. Whenever we require that to remove the extra spaces from starting, then we need to pass these things, TrimStart function. So maybe this will help you to understand means how we can remove the starting space from the any text item. So it will help us to whenever it is required that. So similar way we have one more function, TrimEnd. So what happened here, if you see here, if you go text and TrimEnd, right? So just we need to remove this one and TrimEnd, right? So if you drag and drop here, remove this one, we have full name text and paste. So TrimEnd. So what will be the output? Output will be same as, it will be remove the whatever the space on the end, right? So let's run this one and we will understand that things. So if you go here, so if you see the last space, it will be removed and the starting space it is there, right? So whenever we require to remove the end space any text, right? So at the function at the time we require to this use this one. So this is the for the TrimEnd. Okay, so now we understand today one more function that is lower. So the similar way we can just copy, so it will be happen quickly. Yeah, so today we will see that example means where we can use this one and how it will be do that. So same way we can take the calculation stage and text, and there is a lower, right? So if you click here, now we need to full name to the lower. So paste here, and the trim output is a output. We can just remove this one, lower output we can mark. Okay, delete this one, lower output, and this one we can rename. Okay, so now we need to connect to each other. Maybe we can rename this page lower, right? So what will happen here? So whatever the text it is written, right, like Pawan Sharma, if you see here the P is capital, A is small, right? Similarly S is capital and H is small. So means it will be all whatever the text is, it is there, right? So it will be converted into the text, a small text. So if I go to that one, see Pawan Sharma. So basically where we will use this one, right? So if you see now, means sometime what happen whenever you get this right, the subject line or some any text value from the Excel, right? At the time what we are need to perform that, at the time we need to perform the both function. So the first things will perform the trim, which we learned the previous, right? So trim will go the full name. So if you paste here, this will be give as a trim value, right? It will be remove all the spaces. Then after, if you click here the lower, and whatever the trim you did, that you can just paste here. So what happen here, the both function will trim, the first will be remove the whatever the spaces from the starting and end, and that will be converted into the lower. So sometimes what happened, you don't know the scenario, means sometimes they send this all are the small, sometimes they send the capital. So whenever you require that, right? So just basically we require to do this in this function, like so whenever we hard coded, at the time we also required to do that similar way, right? So what happened here, so the whatever the function it is coming by default, right? So the full name whatever that is coming, whether it is consist of the extra space or it is a lower uppercase, right? So what we will do that, we will convert into the lower cases, and whatever the our validation point also we will pass into the lower, so that the both text will be matched, right? So maybe we can check here the lower output as well, we will take that. Okay, we need to understand that where we can use this one, just link between that. So if you, yeah, so the very initial stage it comes, right? And now if you trim and match, it will be give as a true output, right? Because we are validating where whether it is correct or not. So based upon that, we apply the condition here, right? Whether it is matched, then we can just take the decision box, and then after we will do the next step. So here what we learn, any function whenever the validation is required, so we will pass the both lower and trim function. So this is the mix, right? So trim and lower function. this function will be used everywhere whenever you require the validation, right? Or whether it is the subject line, whether it is the Excel column name. At the time we require to pass in such a way that it will be validated that one. Or any condition, let's suppose any collection you have a specific name, right? Or if any manager that at the time, so you need to pass these things, so it is validating the both condition. So similar way, the another function is also the upper function, right? So we will check this one as well. Just I will copy these things again. I will rename this one. Okay, so we'll understand this, how will it work. So here the same way we will remove this one, and if we go here, right, there is a upper, so we need to pass the full name here. Once you pass here, click paste. So just rename this one as well, upper. Okay, so this will not, yeah, we need to create the data item, we need to delete this one and put as an output block, right? So if we see here, it will be what happened here, it will be convert all the character whatever it is we have passing the as a initial value, right? So it will be convert as a output as a all the lowercase, all in the capital letter. So if you see here, yeah, so this function will be used, we will use in the rare cases, but yeah, we need to know that how and where it will use that one. So basically I could say that this function will use always anywhere, and at the time is several times you can use this one, and we are using this one. So yeah, thank you friend. We will check on the next video or the next function for the text one as well.